Welcome back to the Doug and Commish Show, Week 11 edition, and we are going to go through a couple more previews here that we had. And New Guy versus Doughboy, both 5-5 teams, should be a pretty close matchup. What do you like on the Doughboy side of things?
I like the Doughboy in general. I like.
Do you like to poke him in the stomach?
No, I like the fact that he's been in the Knoll. He understands what it takes to win in the Knoll.
Mm.
And I just like his true tested battle spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I really love any particular matchup. I mean, I'm riding the Vic train like everybody else. I think he's basically unstoppable. 20s, 30s, as we talked about, is not out of the realm of possibility. I like the Queef Colston against Seattle at home. So, and of course, Witten against the Loins.
Yep.
They love to not cover tight ends. So I like some of his matchups, but even if I didn't, it's crunch time, it's playoff time, it's Doughboy time.
All right. Yeah, Doughboy started 1-4.
I mean, old people get going slower than younger people, so that's not surprising.
Something to think about. Anyway, at least that's what Doughboy told me tonight. I guess I should maybe have checked on that.
Doughboy loves to talk about himself.
There's no doubt about that.
Ooh, 61 points, I'm awesome.
He didn't even know what was going on. He was not hunting. Actually, he was hunting. He didn't get anything.
Cougars.
I think he was New Guy. On New Guy's side of things, do you like anything on New Guy's side?
Mike Wallace. I like him as a player.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you who I think is going to have a great week for him is Mark Sanchez. Anybody who's played Houston, I mean, David Garrard looked like a stud out there.
Yeah.
I think Mark Sanchez can be the same way.
Sure. I mean, I'm not going to fight that, but I just can't go against the battle-tested Doughboy.
All right, so evidently you are picking the battle-tested Doughboy.
It's going to be a close one. It's going to be a nice fight, as the NG has been pretty feisty all year. I just think that the Doughboy is just going to kick him off his leg and move on.
So you think that Doughboy using Vic will bark out a victory here?
I do.
All right, thanks. All right, next we move on to the 5-5 Nips at the 4-6 Bean. And on Nips' side of things, Breeze coming off of a bye week. You have to like the extra preparation that Sean Payton and Drew Brees will have that week against a Seattle team that isn't that great against the pass.
I'd watch for an onside kick after halftime.
Maybe the Colts should have saw that coming last year. But anyway, Javid Best. Other than really the first and third game, I think he's been worth nothing. He's
been below piss poor. Since then, and it's not all the offensive line's fault. Like everybody's blaming. He's not running forward.
Yeah, and they were talking about Kevin Smith getting a couple more opportunities here, but Brandon Jackson against Minnesota. Minnesota's once vaunted scary defense just doesn't look that scary anymore.
No, and with that, they can't stop the screen pass. And what does Green Bay do better than any other team other than maybe the Eagles? And it's the screen pass. Yep. So Brandon Jackson, he'll get his.
Okay. On the Bean side of things, anything stand out to you?
I love his receivers, finally. I mean, this is what he was built on at the get-go. Picked up Hillis, kind of reformed his lineup a little bit. And now he's kind of a cluster of it, a little bit of everything. But I do like his matchups for his receivers.
Okay.
And I think Manning is going to battle Breeze. They'll cancel each other out a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's going to be a great matchup to watch right there.
I'll tell you, on the Bean side of things and the Nip side of things, both of their defenses could have huge days. Both of the teams that they're playing are just absolutely awful. Not necessarily that Miami gives up a lot of points, but they don't have a left tackle. They have a third-string quarterback.
No real running game.
So, anyway, that'll be an interesting matchup. So you're taking the Bean?
I'm going to take the Bean in probably the best game of the week. I think this game is going to be really close. Miles Austin against the Detroit secondary is something to keep your eye on. Somebody from the Cowboys is having a big day. Des Bryant, Witten, Roy, Austin, somebody, maybe two out of the four, are having big days. If it's Austin, this game's going to be really close. I'm taking the Beans in a very close but yet luscious game to watch.
I'll take the Bean. Maybe we can
A-
erase.
a
Maybe we can
boost
erase all
of
that
all
stuff.
this. You ate a confidence pill.
I did. It was on the table. It was left from
That's a man, dog.
from some of your kids. Anyway, so Sass against White Trash's last matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Now ESPN has them slated for 132 points for Sass, 121 for White Trash. What is your analysis of their projections at ESPN?
I would in this game in particular, I would automatically back those down 40 to 50 apiece, as neither team has really been consistent in scoring those numbers, especially the Sass.
Yeah.
I mean, he's eaten a couple of steamers.
Mm-hmm.
Jake's had his share of a steamer. So it's not like this is a realistic number for either of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying probably 80s, maybe mid 90s if some of their players play decent. But that's just flat out ridiculous.
Tom Brady against Indianapolis. You saw what he did to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and
Mm-hmm.
Indianapolis is no Pittsburgh.
No, but if you look historically at Brady's numbers, he owns Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Home, away. He has something on that defense that he understands and he clicks with. He owns the Steelers. So that's not surprising. What's more surprising is Brady's only had 3 games all year long, over 20 points. He's not the stud that he was at one point. Indy is a different kind of, you have to be patient, style defense. Brady's going to get back to being normal at the 12 to 14 range.
Okay. Now you had mentioned Ben Jarvis Green Ellis. What do you think how do you think he does for Sass here?
I wasn't in love with him before. I think that he is a number 1 running back on a team that doesn't run.
Mm-hmm.
So unless he gets his surprise touchdown, from 10 yards out or a courtesy 1 yard, I mean, it's just not happening. I mean, you look at his stats, his body of work, it's just not really there.
Yeah.
He'll be good for, 6 to 10 maybe, but he's not your typical number 1 RB.
Gotcha. White Trash, what do you think about his matchup with MJD against Cleveland? Cleveland's actually a better defense than what people are giving him credit for.
Cleveland's defense is up and coming. It's young and it's aggressive, and I really love that defense. Mm-hmm. But MJD is getting more involved in the passing game, as we talked about earlier in the show. And while he's not really Mr. Consistency, I think that this, bodes well for him in this matchup. I also like Turner against St. Louis inside. Mm-hmm. I think that's a good matchup for him. And then also Tammy at New England. Manning's got to throw the ball to somebody. I think it's him.
He's the one who's been catching all the passes lately.
Big time. Mm-hmm. Big time. And I think even though they're projected to score, 300 apiece, I think this is an 80s and 90s game. I don't like things on Sass like Brady, Ellis, Edwards can't catch. Mm-hmm. Jennings, he's a 2-point kind of guy, maybe a 20 if he catches the deep bomb. And then the Jets were a horrible second-round pick. I still don't like the Sass's team. I think that they're going to miss out on the playoffs, and Sass is a rodent killer. I like White Trash.
You like White Trash?
I like White Trash in this game.
Okay. All right. Well, I, too, will pick White Trash in this. I like the matchups just a little bit better. And all hail Bertucky.
White beaters.
That wraps up the Week 11 show for the Duncan Commission, obviously. We will be here hopefully next week, Lord willing, with maybe a clearer picture of what the playoffs are looking like. So best of luck to you this week. May all your fantasy players be studs.